Hey guys, today I have for you week 1 of my month-long meal planning videos. In this video, I'm going to show you all the groceries that I bought, how I prep the food for the week, and then each meal throughout the week. My goal is to make 5 dinners for less than $50, and I'll have a link below on my meal plan for the month, as well as a grocery list and a prep list to go along with it. For this week, I spent a total of $39.93 on groceries. Now, when I get home from the grocery store on Sunday, I like to go ahead and do all of my prepping for the upcoming week. I'll start by taking the pork steaks out of the package and seasoning them. I like to use seasoned salt, pepper, paprika, garlic powder, and onion powder. Then I drizzle a little vegetable oil over the pork steaks, mix them around, and put them in a Ziploc bag and put those in the freezer for later in the week. Next, I like to season my drumsticks. For this, I'll use lemon pepper, salt, garlic powder, and dried parsley. Again, I drizzle a little bit of vegetable oil over the drumsticks, and these I'll go ahead and put in a Ziploc and put in the refrigerator. I also like to make my meatballs in advance. For this, you will need salt, pepper, dried parsley, garlic powder, onion powder, Worcester, a sleeve of Ritz crackers, and 1 egg. Pour all the ingredients over the meat in a large bowl and mix with your hands. After it's thoroughly mixed, go ahead and use a small ice cream scoop to scoop out little meatballs onto a baking sheet covered with foil and sprayed with a little bit of olive oil. You will then want to bake your meatballs at about 400 degrees for 15 minutes uncovered and then an additional 20 minutes covered. Once they are cool, you can put them in Ziploc bags and put them in the freezer. While the meatballs are baking, I like to do all of my chopping of my vegetables. So first I'll start out by chopping 1 whole yellow onion and slicing 1 whole yellow onion, and put them in separate Ziploc bags to use throughout the week. Then I will wash my carrots and squash. I will chop them and I'll put both of them in Ziploc bags for later in the week. Now that's all the prepping that I'll do on Sunday. Here is how each of the dinners turned out. On Monday, we had the chicken drumsticks with roasted potatoes and corn on the cob. On Monday night, I went ahead and chopped up 4 large golden potatoes, put them on a lined cookie sheet, seasoned them with salt, pepper, a little bit of vegetable oil, and tossed them around. Then, on another cookie sheet, I just simply put out the pre-seasoned chicken drumsticks, then put both of them in the oven at 400 degrees. For the potatoes, they only take about 30 minutes, although you may want to mix them or toss them about once during that time. And for the chicken, I just go ahead and bake that covered with foil for 45 minutes, and then uncover it and bake for an additional 15 minutes. And the corn on the cob I just simply boiled on the stovetop. And after everyone was finished eating, I took what was left of the chicken and deboned it and put it in the refrigerator to use for Wednesday's meal. Tuesday night we had spaghetti and meatballs with sautéed squash. So while I put my pot on the stove to boil for the spaghetti noodles, I went ahead and heated up the meatballs and added just a large can of spaghetti sauce and a little extra seasoning of garlic powder, onion powder, and parsley, and I let that all simmer while the noodles were cooking. Also on the side, I had a sauté pan with some chopped onions, chopped squash, and a little bit of vegetable oil. And when they're almost done cooking, I just season them with a little salt and pepper. After the noodles are done cooking, I strain them, put them back in the pot, and just pour over the spaghetti sauce and meatball mixture, and dinner is done. On Wednesday night, we had chicken and rice casserole with broccoli. Now I started out by making 3 cups of white rice After it was done, I went ahead and put half in a container. We'll use that again on Friday. And the other half, I went ahead and made this little chicken and rice casserole. For this, I just went ahead and steamed my broccoli and set it aside. Then in a small saucepan on the stove, I combined a can of cream of mushroom, a little bit of butter, a little bit of milk, salt, and pepper, as well as the leftover chicken from Monday. I let this all cook in the pot for a few minutes. Then I pour it over my rice, add in my broccoli, mix it all together, and put it in this baking pan. I sprinkle a little bit of cheese over the top, and then just put it in the oven on broil for literally 2 to 3 minutes, just until the cheese is melted. And then voila, you have this yummy casserole. On Thursday night, we had Swedish meatballs, buttered potatoes, and mixed vegetables. Now, since my meatballs were already pre-cooked, I just put them in the saute pan to warm through, then removed them from the pan and made a simple gravy. I started with a little bit of butter, a little bit of flour, and then whisked in some beef broth. To that, I added salt, pepper, dried parsley, and a little bit of milk to make it creamy. I let this simmer for about 10 minutes on low, then added the meatballs back, put the lid on, and let it simmer for an additional 5 minutes. While this was cooking, I had cooked some golden potatoes on the side. They only take about 10 minutes. And then I simply just pour over a mixture of melted butter and sauteed onions. I then reuse that same pan to saute some mixed vegetables, seasoning them with just salt and pepper. And that's our dinner. And lastly, on Friday, we had pork steaks with gravy and onions, carrots, and rice. Now the rice is left over from what we made on Wednesday, so I just had to pull that out of the fridge. The carrots I just boiled on the stovetop and then tossed with some butter, salt, and pepper. For the pork steaks, I went ahead and browned them in the pan since they were already pre-seasoned. After they were brown, I put them on a cookie sheet and let them finish cooking in the oven. Then back in the same pan, I put a little bit of butter and some onions and sauteed them. After this, I added a little sprinkle of flour, salt, and pepper, and whisked that together with some beef broth. I added a little bit of Worcester sauce and a little splash of milk. I stirred this all together and let it simmer for about 5 to 10 minutes. I then added the cooked pork steaks back into the gravy, spooned a little gravy over the top, put a lid on it, and let them cook together for about 5 minutes. And then the dinner was complete. As I said, I will leave a link below for my weekly meal plan. It lists each day of the week what you'd be having, the grocery list you'll need, along with the prep work you'll have to do on Sunday night to make your week a little easier. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I look forward to seeing you next week. Thanks for watching. Bye.